Okay, while beginning to build the car in step number 2, one thing I want to point out is there's these arms that go onto the top of the A-arms, and there's a little nipple. You can barely see it in the picture here, but there's a nipple on each end of the part number C13, which normally is a tie rod of some sort with ball cups on either side. Haven't been particularly impressed with this, but make sure that the nipple is on the other side where the screw bolts into. One thing that I don't particularly like is the screw design goes all the way through here, which does not look very promising for durability concerns down the road, but I mean, not having driven this vehicle, I can't really say for sure, but I guess I'm a little bit more accustomed to typical ball cups on either end as opposed to a plastic rod, which leaves very little, if no, room for adjustment. Okay, I just want to take a quick moment here to show that the default shocks that come with the Blackfoot Xtreme are not oil-filled. They are just nothing but more than just a mechanical spring, and you can see a little small piece of cut tubing that's inside the shock here that is used for the damping effect. So not very much movement is allowed in the default spring, and what I decided to do instead was use a combination of the Kyosho Ultima SC shock body, which is on the very top with the metal cap here and the tube, and then on the bottom I decided to use the HPI Blitz shock cap on the bottom, and then the fitting that's on the bottom along with the HPI Blitz spring. So this is a combination of two different shocks that are designed for the front of the short courses, and they come out to be about the same size as the Blackfoot Xtreme shock, and this seems to work out a little bit better for me. I much prefer having the oil-filled shocks, and that seems to work all the way around for both the front and the rear, even though these are front shocks. Both sets are front shocks for the Blitz and Ultima. Okay, I'm going to cover the electronics that come with the Blackfoot Xtreme, and to start off with, it comes with a 27-turn Mabuchi style motor, and they already have this installed inside of the gear case. And the first thing that I want to note is that it has two mounting slots for two different size pinions, either an 18-tooth pinion or a 20-tooth pinion. That's your only two options. You cannot use any other size pinion to mount inside it. This is all you get. It actually comes with an 18-tooth pinion, and if you want to upgrade to a 20-tooth pinion, you'll have to purchase that separately. And they use typical Phillips head screws. I might try to see if I can replace those with some hex heads later. And it also comes with this the TEU 104 BK speed control. This speed control here, forward, reverse, standard, your typical brushed speed control, which supports up to a 25-turn motor. But I don't plan on installing this electronics here. What I'll be going with instead is I'm going to use this Aeolian speed control. It's a 60 amp speed control, and it's just your typical sensorless speed control. And the motor that I plan to use with this is going to be a Bulletstorm 17.5 turn motor. So I'll try to do more video of this in a little bit as that goes in. For the radio system, I will be using a FlySky FS-GT3B radio. I already use this radio with several of my other vehicles, so this will be an add-on. This radio supports has a 10 model memory, and so for an additional receiver that I purchased, I'm going to try something a little different. At the time when I bought this, Hobby Parts had ran out of stock of the typical 3-channel receivers. So I went ahead and bought the FlySky R6B 6-channel receiver, and what I've noticed is that the antenna is a little slightly different. Shouldn't be a problem still working with the car. I was able to get this to bind with the radio. The only difference was in order to bind this, I had to use the battery slot at the top to put the bind cable in. The servo that I'm going to be using is also from Hobby Parts for about $15. Is the EXI D227F servo. This is the fastest servo that they sell. And then the battery pack that I'm going to be using is the Shims 3500 milliamp. It fits ever so snugly into the chassis slot here, which is really designed for nickel metal hydride packs. But if you get this LiPo pack, this actually fits ever so carefully in there, nice and snug for this particular use. The Blackfoot comes with 2 style servo horns here, and the 2 different styles are Futaba and Sanwa. I believe Sanwa is the same thing as Airtronics. And for this particular servo that I'm using, which is the EXI D227F, it actually is compatible with the Sanwa style. So if you are going to be using this servo for this build, you should not have any problems getting the one of these 2 servo horns to work for you. Okay, I'm got to step 21 here, and in this step, part of the step, it has me install these 12mm hexes, and you put one of these little 2 by 10mm pins into the axle, and when you slide it in the axle, you put this little 12mm plastic hex on the axle. But then what I noticed is there's a little bit of slop in here. See, it's kind of hard to see here, but see how it slides in and out? Not exactly the ideal situation. So I looked around all over the parts bin or the included parts, and I could not find any shims. So what you will need to install yourself are these little shim spacers that you put on the axle, and you'll need to slide that on, then slide your pin in, and then put the hex over that, and then this will help take away that slop. And this particular shim here is a 1mm thick shim that I guess you can get from any parts or any hobby shop. That particular shim there is for the Kyosho Ultima SC. I went ahead and installed the shim in the rear here, and you can see that there is no more slop. It's nice tight fit, and you can kind of see in the aim from this angle there what it looks like. And then another note about the shims, this is the parts tree for the Kyosho Ultima. You'll see that the shims that I'm using are the blue aluminum shims, and they come in different sizes over here as well, a little thicker. But in the parts tree here for the Kyosho, you'll see that they actually include the shim spacers on the parts tree itself. So maybe you might already have these for other cars as well. So. Okay, I just started step 22, and one of the things that I wanted to cover is that I am using the Shims 3500 milliamp LiPo battery. It is 25C, which is more than enough for the system. But one thing is, when you see here on the side of the battery, it's not perfectly centered where the battery wires come out of the pack. And in this particular step, it has this brace here that you use to install to hold the battery pack in place. And what I had to do was I actually had to grind away using my rotary tool to cut away a little piece of that notch, so that way this would fit, and then it would not rub against this rubber grommet on the pack. And the reason why I chose to do that is because I have used this pack in another car where this wire was bunched up inside the battery tray, and that was over time it caused the solder tabs inside the hard case to shear off, and it actually can damage the battery pack itself. So it's very important that you don't have any binding with the cables or with the wires that are coming out of the hard case in itself. So that's the reason why I've chosen to grind away some of the plastic here for this particular tray. So once again, if you are planning to use the Gens Ace 3500 pack for this car, you should probably plan to make this minor modification here.